welcome to another episode of What's Up Wenatchee. It is Friday. Isn't that nice? It is Friday, March 3rd, and this is what we do every Friday, a live broadcast. And today we are broadcasting live, literally, from the back of the PAC, the Numerica Performing Arts Center. I absolutely love this place, and I'm so happy that they were so welcoming to bring us back here. And we're helping our friends here celebrate the launch of their second season of their podcast, which is coming out on Monday. So they have a podcast called The Back of the PAC, where they literally record all of their episodes in the back of the PAC, even further back of the PAC. And if you haven't listened to any of those episodes, they are utterly entertaining. And they're hosted by Jay Woody Lotz, who is the executive director of the Numerica Performing Arts Center. And he is very funny and he is talking to people that I enjoy listening to. So we're going to get a chance to be hanging out here for the next couple of hours. So on today's program, we have a packed show. We're going to get a chance to sit down with Charley Voorhis from Voortex Productions. And he's been in and around the area for a while, but he has this film. He does kind of like what we do with podcasts, but he does it with film. And he has Project Pivot, if you've heard of that, which is a really cool project that was screened right here at the PAC last month, sold out, has another screening tonight that we're going to talk to him about up at the Snowy Owl. And they're doing some other screenings around the area of this really cool film project documentary that he put together. So we're going to talk to him all about that. And man, I cannot wait, because the premise behind Project Pivot is just so impactful. And it's not just about extreme sports, because it takes, this snowboarder and a rock climber and a mountain biker, which is not really my thing. I'm not an extreme sports person, but the premise behind taking these three people and switching them into a different sport, and then the emotional entanglements that are involved in that, I can totally get with the anxiety of putting yourself into a position that you're just kind of not ready for. Yeah, I get that. So we're going to kind of talk about the psychological aspect of the documentary that he has filmed and put together, because I think that's a huge aspect of it. I have a couple of giveaways that I'm going to let you know about today to help the PAC celebrate their second season of their podcast. So I'll tell you about a ticket giveaway that we're going to give away for a show that's next month right here at the PAC. Pretty fun show that we're helping to get the word out and help sponsor. And then we're going to do a fun little game a little bit later on and introduce you to another game show podcast that is on the network that is brand new. So if you can answer a couple of trivia questions, we're going to throw a prize your way. So you can always interact with us online through any of the chats that you are on. So wherever you are with us, on whatever platforms, you can answer through the chat, or we also have an interactive text line. So I want to give you that text number so you can text us as well. It is 509-795-5602. And then finally, we're going to get a chance to talk with Matthew Pippin, who has his third year with March of the Pippin coming up later on this month. And that is a week full of walking for Matthew Pippin, and he is going to try and raise some money here for the Numerica Performing Arts Center. Before we get into anything, I have to thank my friends over at Susie Health Solutions. They help support this podcast. You know, insurance shopping really just sucks. If you go online, you could just expect your phone is going to blow up and your email box is going to be filled with contacts. And it just gets kind of crazy whenever you start to shop for insurance. The products can be confusing. I mean, honestly, what is catastrophic coverage? And how does it differ from full coverage? I have no idea. 11 years ago, Matt and Susie saw the change in health insurance coming. They started helping people for free with Apple Health and all their plans on the Washington Health Plan Finder. And then they saw gaps in the dental, they saw vision, they saw Medicare. And so they contacted these companies and started offering those too, right here in town. So when you talk to them and you go into their office, it's a pretty laid back scene. You see some national park posters up on the wall. They're kind of laid back. You see them wearing blue jeans and comfortable shoes. They're just like you and me, regular people, but they can answer all your questions. I've asked them a million questions about my healthcare, and they've answered them. And they really don't make me feel stupid about asking what I feel are stupid questions. You know, I know that it's my healthcare, and I ask them all the questions until I feel comfortable and I feel like I understand. So, and even better, in January, they expanded to start covering homes, autos, businesses, which, you know, I gotta think about these things too. I have a home, I have a car, I have a business. Yeah, and you got to think about these things. So they partnered up with Shayla and connected with a bunch of insurance companies to help do the bundling thing to fill in the gaps of those kinds of insurance. So you can go to one place. Yes, you can go to one place for your health, for your home, for all of those things. Just go to Susie Health Solutions. There are Wenatchee Insurance, all in one place. Susie Health Solutions and Wenatchee Insurance, 143 North Mission Street. They have been longtime supporters of Nikki Darling, Darling Productions. So we thank them always for being here with us. And we hope that you go and support them too and ask them all the insurance and home insurance and business insurance questions. Thank you again for Susie and Matt from Susie Health Solutions. Go wahbroker.com, wahbroker.net. You'll find it, wahbroker.com. All right. So we are gonna. I see Charley over in the waiting area. We're gonna get him set up. Charley Voorhis from Voortex Productions. Before we do get to talk to him, I want to tell you about our first. Yeah, go ahead, sit down, get comfortable. Yeah, you're not going to be on camera just yet, but I want you to get comfortable. We'll get to you in just a second. But before I get to talk with Charley, I want to tell you about our Supercast subscription, which is our What's Up Wenatchee community. And if you are a part of that community, there are people joining our exclusive internet club all the time. It's very easy to do. I'll put up the website right now. It's www.supercast.com. And if you are a part of that community, you're going to get exclusive interviews. You'll be part of exclusive content and giveaways, including one giveaway that we just posted yesterday for a pair of tickets to go to Step Africa, which is, you know, it's one of those global phenomenon that is just taking over. You know, I got to see a step show on Broadway when I lived on the East Coast, and it is just so much fun. It's, yeah, they do that stuff. I can't do it, but that's how it goes. And then, you know, they make the music with their hands and their feet, and it's so cool. And they have the drumming and everything. So that is coming to the PAC. April 11th, I've got a couple of tickets to give away. If you are part of the What's Up Wenatchee online Supercast community at any level, we're going to automatically get you entered for a pair of those tickets to Step Africa. So if you need information, right there, www.supercast.com. All right. So, man, I cannot wait to get a chance to talk with Charley about this Project Pivot. If you haven't heard about it, Are you living under a rock, people? Like, seriously, are you living under a rock? Because they had a screening here at the PAC that was sold out. Couldn't find a seat. And then tonight, there's Snowy Owl Theater screening, sold out. Sorry, you didn't get on it quick enough. But there are other screenings that are planned. And if we have to, we will keep planning them over and over and over again until everybody gets to see this film, because I think it is that important. So right now I want to introduce to you Charley Voorhis from Voortex Productions. Hi, thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you. This is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So just get a little bit closer. I want to be able to hear you. Thank you. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely. Cool. So how are you feeling ahead of tonight's second screening?
You know, I feel like I'm less nervous than I was for the premiere. The premiere was certainly pretty nerve-wracking. It's a bigger venue, and I've booked the PAC a few times in the past, and I've never come even close to bringing in the attendance that we brought for this one. But I'm always nervous with the PAC, and tonight I'm pretty comfortable with just going in and watching the film with a room full of people. We're doing a Q&A at the end, and so I'll be getting nervous as that gets closer.
Did you guys do a Q&A when you were here at the PAC?
Sort of. We Ron Evans came up and kind of did a curated Q&A. We wanted to do a pass the mic through the audience, but it's just such a big space, and we didn't want to release it to the wolves that way. And we just wanted to keep a little bit more control over it. But we didn't know what Ron was going to ask us, so he did have a few questions prepared and did a quick little.
I would be nervous too if Ron was going to be just asking me questions and I hadn't vetted those questions beforehand. I would be kind of nervous. I would think, But this is your passion project. Nobody knows it better than you do, right?
I suppose, yeah.
So for people who aren't familiar with the story, let's lay out at least what the premise of Project Pivot is all about.
Sure. Yeah, I'll start with kind of the close explanation. There's a bigger backstory, I think, in terms of where this all came from. But essentially, it's three athletes: a pro skateboarder, pro rock climber, pro mountain biker. They go on a 3-day adventure to try to learn each other's sport. And so, yes, it's an action sports film, but really it's more about learning, and it's about addressing fear and adaptability and teamwork. And, there's a lot of ego shattering in this story that I think is pretty applicable for a lot of people, whether you're into sports or not.
But especially for people who are into extreme sports, you have to have a little bit of ego to be into extreme sports, I think.
Yeah.
But there has to be a little bit of ego shattering too when you're into extreme sports, and you know this because you grew up in extreme sporting.
Yeah, I have a history with it for sure. And then one more layer to the story is I brought 2 therapists along for the ride to kind of experience the journey firsthand, but then also share some of their insight on what they witnessed and kind of give their psychological interpretation per se. And that was a fun angle that we sort of rolled into this story a little bit later in the development process that I'm really glad we went with, because it's a cool layer for me.
Originally part of the
plan. I mean, when we go all the way back to 2019, that wasn't part of it. But as we started to develop the concept, that came in, maybe 6 months before we pulled the trigger on actually doing the film. It was something that popped up in a brainstorming meeting. It's like, oh, that's a cool idea.
And how important was that aspect to the overall development and message of the film?
For me, I think it was integral in terms of what I ultimately wanted to kind of have be the end result and be palatable for people other than sports fanatics.
Yeah.
It brings it to a personal, relatable level, regardless of who you are and what you're into or what you're afraid of. It brings a tangible element to it that I don't think could have come to surface without them and without their perspective on what happened. So,
I have to agree, because I'm not. I grew up certainly an athlete, but definitely not into extreme sports. Actually, I tend to be like, no, I am not an adrenaline junkie, but my husband very much is an adrenaline junkie. He was a skateboarder, snowboarder, anything that will get him 50 feet in the air. He's like all about it.
Yeah.
And now I see it. We have a 1.5-year-old.
Yep.
Charlie, he got onto his he sees his dad get on a longboard, and then now he's on a longboard, and I'm like, you are 20 months old. I can't.
I know. I'm doing the same thing to my kids.
I watched the trailer for Project Pivot, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be my kid. This is gonna be my kid who wants to be up there doing all this stuff, and then I get really. See, there's one common denominator that doesn't matter where you come from, where you live, what your background is. Every single human being experiences fear. Every single person.
Yeah.
And that is I think the relatable thread through this film is that even in their own sport, your athletes experience that, but as they get better at their own sport, that fear aspect goes away. So when you put them into a situation that is completely new to them, they think they're going to crush it, and it's like, oh no. And then they have to deal with that fear. Is that right?
Yeah, I think one of the things for me, I feel like we kind of set the table in this film for a lot of topics to come up for different people, and people are going to get different things out of it. But for me, one of the things that I kind of continually stayed true to from my own perspective was kind of this fear versus passion battle. And fear can conquer passion, and then passion can conquer fear. And people give up on things that they might, really want to pursue or really be in love with, because maybe they're too afraid of it, or there was too many consequences that they didn't know how to translate and turn into something that they can work with, rather they succumb to them and give up on their dream or their passion. And so it's kind of this tug of war of passion and fear. So that's one of the things that, when I watch it, and it's fun to watch it because it's, sure, I made it, but I'm still watching these other people have this experience. And it's not like, a poem that I wrote that I read 10,000 times. I just sort of put things in motion, and then the story is its own, and I can watch it and appreciate it for what it is, like any other viewer, and just admire these athletes and these characters as anyone else. And so
tell me how this project came about, because it doesn't seem like something that would happen just organically. Sure. It seemed like it was a premise that you were sitting around a table with a bunch of creative people going like, what can we do? What's a good idea?
I'm going to try to find the most concise version of this answer as I can, because I feel like there's a lot that I could say, and I don't even really know how to make it concise. But it starts with me as a teenage athlete, and I was a sponsored snowboarder, and I did a lot of touring and competitions and things like that. And I had dreams of being a professional snowboarder and skateboarder. And I had an accident when I was 17 that just it shook me mentally and emotionally, to the core. I could no longer even imagine pushing myself to the level it would take to actually get to the level that, was that professional dream.
Because you mentally just couldn't get past that mental barrier anymore.
It's funny. What's her name? The gymnast recently talked a lot about that, and it's called the yips or something like that, where you get this mental hiccup where you can no longer really perform. You can't remember how to do the routine things that you've been doing for years. And so I feel like I must have got a case of that on some level, but I more or less gave up. I just gave up on my dream to be a pro snowboarder. And I sat in depression for a year. My whole senior year of high school, I was just and so, fast forward several years and get involved in some businesses. I owned a couple shops, and then I'm a young father. I had my son when I was 24. And so now I'm trying to learn how to be a parent. And then I started teaching at the tech center. So now I'm a really young teacher, and I see these kids. And the biggest thing that jumped out at me was their disconnection with passion, or so many kids they just didn't love anything. They were just, what do you do? And you're like, oh, no. Friends well, what do you guys do? Nothing. play video games.
Play video
sometimes.
games, yes.
It's like, man, like I remember being their age and just being like so on fire for a thing, and the lack of fire that I saw. And so, over many years, I guess, of doing the company, doing parenting, trying to stay involved in my own sports, there were all these themes that kind of kept popping up that I couldn't articulate. Like I couldn't really like shake it into my son and be like, don't you get it? Like, this is what it means to be in love with something. So I was always looking for an opportunity to try to like roll it into art somehow. And I feel like anytime in the past when I've had the opportunity to do a passion project, I've gone very artistic and metaphorical, and I'd like come up with these analogies and like paint this abstract picture that like 3 people in the world might understand, but most people are just like, what is that? And then it sort of like came full circle where it's just like, honestly, like if I can just show people learning in real time the things that I know that you have to go through when learning these particular sports, but it's really broad. You could use, insert any 3 sports into this story and it'll probably work. But I just knew these 3 sports so well myself that I knew how to kind of tee it up. And I knew how to address these different like learning points. And if you only get one day to do this thing, like I know that it's not going to be a success, but it's going to bring up a lot of stuff for people to just have to deal with in real time. So anyway, 2019, 2020, it was kind of like, our whole world, everyone's world flipped inside out. And sure, it was really hard, but I also then saw it as an opportunity of like, well, here's a window of downtime. And here, if we're going to pull the trigger on something like this, like here's our chance. It did end up becoming much more of an involved project than I thought it was going to be. And we actually didn't get as slow as we thought we were going to get. We actually stayed pretty busy as a company through 2020, 2021. But we pushed through and finally got it fully completed. But yeah, it was just, how do you bring up these topics in an organic way that people can relate to? And yeah.
That's actually not, I didn't know that aspect of the story. So thank you for sharing that. And you said like you could kind of plug in any 3 sports, but I think you can plug in any 3 things, right? Like I can take that premise, that idea, and plug it into what I do on my end too. Like, we're learning new things here. We're learning how to do some video editing on our end because we do audio. Like I do what you do, but for audio. But now we're trying to integrate some of this video on a very rudimentary level. Charlie, you bear with me. I don't do what you do, but you have so much respect. But on a rudimentary level, and I talk to Grayson and I say, this is going to be a very frustrating process because we don't know what we're doing at the beginning. So just remember that at the beginning, we're going to want to pull our hair out and we're going to stomp and we're going to have temper tantrums. But in the end, we're going to know a new skill and we're going to be really proud of ourselves. So
it's a learning process. Yeah. I think that's great.
Yeah. But I think that there is a generational gap that, I look at my son's only a year and a half, but I go, well, how is it going to be different for him growing up in just a different generation? I have a stepson who just turned 18, and I go, what are you into? What are you doing? Video games. And it is a different. How do you teach passion? How do you teach creativity to somebody? Those are intangible things, but you can try to make an impact through by an example, by showing examples. And this is a good way to do that. This is a great example of that. So far, of all the attempts maybe I've made in the past, I feel like this paints the picture in the most interpretive way that makes sense. When I first started my company, I started Voortex Productions in 2004. I was 20 years old. Definitely didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know anything about anything. And it actually started here at the PAC. I wanted to do this live concert. I had a group of musician friends and we wrote a 1-hour score and I made this 1-hour silent film and I was going to do this whole thing together. And if I remember correctly, I maybe couldn't rent the PAC without some kind of insurance liability of some kind. I couldn't
do the thing unless I was official. So I could either go find a fiscal sponsor or I could just become a business. So I just went and became a business and brought insurance to the table. And I'm pretty sure that's how it all came to be. But
and how old are your kids now, or kid?
I've got a son who's 14 and a daughter who's 5. And I mentioned before, like shaking something into him. Like my son is an extremely good athlete. He's a great skateboarder, great snowboarder. He certainly likes video games, but I don't want to paint the picture that he's not out there active. And I like to think that I'm just going to be chasing him one day, trying to keep up with him during all these things. But what I was going to say is, one of the things that I've always tried to explain, and as a teacher, and sometimes when I defend skateboarding in the public, try to paint the picture of like, there's nothing else that I can explain the learning process better than skating, and the amount of tries that goes into one success or one result. And when you're learning a new trick, you'll literally spend 600 to 1,000 efforts to get the thing. Like a kid who's learning a kickflip for the first time, like to finally get to that point, there's 1,000 failures right behind it. And there's so many other aspects of our life where it's like, you don't get it first try and you're like, oh, I'm never gonna try that again. I'm just terrible at that. And there's so many like tiny little failures that people do in their day to day, and you just give up without a second try or with only one effort. And for whatever reason, like skateboarders are kind of wired to like, they embrace the failure aspect of it. And when they do come up short, it's like this mental articulation of like, well, if I just do it a little bit more like this, and then, oh, no, that didn't quite do it. Yeah, more like this. And like you do that and you build this like resiliency and you build this agility to then finally get to like, make this mental and emotional connection to like doing something in routine. And it's not just skateboarding. So many athletics do it that way. But what I wanted to try to do was bring that analogy into everyday life, whether you're a barista or an electrician or a chef, or it's
about resilience.
Put in that time
and the grit, like that grit that you're talking about. Like it is about persistence and resilience, and and maybe you did get that from skateboarding or athletics.
And that's where I happen to learn it, which is the story I can tell, but it's for everybody.
It is for everybody. And although I'm not quite as big of an athlete as some other people, you get it wherever you get it from. And I was actually literally just talking to somebody about this. I don't know if you know Tom Neese. He works with Serve Wenatchee Valley and Common Ground. Yeah,
we've certainly crossed paths several times, and the name's very familiar. If I saw him, I'd be like, "Oh, hey!" Face to face.
It's this town. It's how this town works. But I'm literally talking to him yesterday about embracing the hard. So it's so funny that we're having this conversation, because it must be something in the universe right now where that's the message that needs to get out there. That sometimes you can't appreciate the good that when you have it until you embrace that hard, because you don't even realize that you have it good until you've gone through the hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many metaphors you can play with too, or like analogies that just paint that picture. I mean, literally building muscle is you create trauma to the muscle, and then it heals itself bigger and stronger, and then you traumatize it again and it builds bigger and that at its most like physical interpretation of that concept, that is how we build and grow things.
It's a very tangible example, right? You could see that, but you can apply that to very untangible things, like your soul, right? Your soul can just break apart and then heal itself and be stronger, and then break apart and then heal itself and be stronger.
That's totally it. And if there's a moment when you're going through something that's devastating or whatever, but the moment where you can try to step back and appreciate how incredibly hard this situation is, that's going to then give you just that tool to turn that thing. And there's a ton of energy packed into that. It just feels so negative, but you can translate that energy into something positive. And I mean, that's it. That's failure and learning. That's growing, right?
Yeah. That's how we learn and grow and change and emotionally evolve as people.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Oh.
And I don't want to bash on video games, because I will admit there's a few games that I enjoy playing, but you don't get that kind of like dynamic relationship with your personal self when you're playing video game.
Right.
You know, when Mario falls off the cliff and game over, like, oh, well, I got to start again. But
Right.
you don't have this visceral reaction. You have a very like superficial, like, you know, topical reaction, like, dang it, I tried so hard. Like, no, you didn't try that. Like, it's a game, you know, and
You're engaging
there's no
different
consequence.
things in your brain and your body and your hand
So
eye coordination.
again, I don't want to bash it, because there's a place for technology in games, and I'm not
and tuning out
against it.
I know my stepson and my husband, they use it as a tune out.
Totally.
Yep. It's what I do.
I do the
with
same.
crossword puzzles. Yeah, just me and crossword
I got
puzzles.
really good at Tony Hawk Pro Skater
I
growing
bet you
up.
did. I bet you did.
Um,
Charley, this has been just a joy to catch up with you about this. I hope that everybody goes and checks out Project Pivot. And I know that tonight's screening is sold out up at the Snowy Owl, so congratulations on that.
Yeah.
And give me the website that people can go to check out future screenings.
Yeah, so projectpivotfilm.com.
Okay.
It's actually just an extension off of vortexproductions.com, but projectpivotfilm.com. We'll always post upcoming events and screenings.
And if anybody out there is interested and has a place that wants to hold a screening, I'm sure that you're open to that too. And there's, you know, merch and other projects that you've been doing or want to do and done in the past.
Exactly. Yeah.
So just check out Voortex Productions. Your work is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you are as well. I love your spirit. You've been a great joy for the show. So thank you so much for being here.
Really enjoyed this as well.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. All right, I'm going to take you off camera and wave goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Charley Voorhis for Voortex Productions. And again, you are listening and watching What's Up Wenatchee. We do a weekly live podcast, and we'll make sure we get all of the information for Project Pivot posted up for you guys. And so Grayson, just make sure that Charley's all taken care of. You're all good to go, Charley. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. In just a few minutes, we are going to get our friend April Castle up on here. So I have to give you the backstory on this, what's going on with April. So apparently April, anybody who knows April, she is the owner and operator of Dooley Dogs Hot Dogs. And they are out and about all over the place. They go out to the Wenatchee Wild Games and all of the fairs and festivals and everything. So you might know April. She is quite a character, and we get along very well. But April thinks that she needs another friend. So she decided that she wanted to interview me, because she thought maybe I would be a good candidate, but I needed to go through this like rigorous 40-question friend interview. So you could go back and actually, we did this friend interview on Tuesday, and I feel like I completely and utterly failed the friend interview. Okay. So Grayson, sit down and talk to me about this. Because I want to tell the story about the friend interview with April before we actually get April on. So this was the story. It was just like this low-key, nonchalant thing. She was like, I want to interview you to be my friend.
Right.
And I was like, okay. We made a play date for me to bring Trenton over to play with Casey, which they're about the same age. And then she also has Wally, who's a baby.
Right.
And so I would call her a stay-at-home mom, but she works the Dooley Dogs hot dog truck. So she's not really a stay-at-home mom, but she stays home with Wally during the day. So we made this plan for me to come over and have the play date. And then she was like, I'll just do the friend interview when you come over. I'm like, okay. And then she calls me like 50 times in one day while I'm working. And you know what that's like. I'm like, you've been with me while I'm working. I'm like, I'm on the phone all the time and doing all the things. And so I just didn't answer her. She's like, She's like, you can't be my friend if you don't answer the phone. I'm like, girl, I'm working. What do you need? She's like, Casey is throwing up. I'm like, okay, well, we're not coming over for the friend interview. She's like, we'll do it live over online. I was like, what? We're going to do what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, we'll just broadcast it live online. I'm like, okay, now we're broadcasting this thing. So like, fine. You know me, I'm like, I'm game. And I'm like, oh, why don't we just do it Vogue style? Like Vogue does the Vogue's 40 question interview thing. She's like, okay. And I kind of didn't think it was serious, like a serious deal.
I could tell.
Right. So we got on to the, there she is. I'm not putting her on the air just yet. She's in the green room. So we went live. That was the only information that she gave me. That's it. Friend interview, 40 questions. That's it. I need a new friend. So we go online. I told her I would set it up because I have the thing to set up the live and have more people on it. And then we go through these 40 questions. Meanwhile, she started texting me questions about like my personal life that I could clearly, she knows nothing about me. She's done no research. She's why are you frowning?
I'm not frowning. I'm just, I think she knows things about you. Maybe not all the things you think she should know about you, but.
Okay, maybe.
I'm going to go with she knows some things about you based on the questions she asked.
Okay.
I know you don't agree.
I think she didn't know things about me based off of the questions that she asked or didn't ask. Okay, fine, whatever. So then I wish I had the clip to show you at the end of the interview where I go, well, when are you going to announce whether I made the cut or not? And then she goes, oh, I don't know. I have about like 4 or 5 other interviews to conduct.
Are you jealous?
Maybe
a smidge.
I wish I could go back in real time and show you the look on my face.
Oh, you don't have to. It was a priceless look.
Genuinely pang through the heart in real time. I had no idea I had competition. Like zero. I was hurt.
Let it go.
Right.
Let it go.
So I threatened to do some other friend interviews, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to do other friend interviews. However, there was a big suggestion that I do a reverse friend interview on April. So that I will do.
Okay.
I will take her up on that.
You don't want to get taken out of this rotation of the friend interview with her, right? I just want to get that straight. I mean, I think that I personally took it as you're being interviewed. I want to be interviewed. I love April Castle. Are you getting interviewed
by April?
I am getting interviewed by April.
Okay.
When? I don't know. But
let's get her in on this. April.
Hi.
Are you with us? Hi, honey.
Oh, do I have to press anything?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're there. You're on live with us. Hi. Oh, and Wally too. Hi.
Casey's napping. Have his
okay. Is he still throwing up, or is he better?
He's not projectile vomiting anymore, but there are other sickness symptoms that you don't want. Projectiles elsewhere.
Yuck.
Yeah, it's not great. Hi, Grayson.
Can you hear her? No,
I can't hear her.
Oh, he can't hear you. He doesn't have headphones on.
I don't have headphones on.
Oh no.
It's, you know what? It's okay. I can kind of hear you a smidge, April. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Hey, we're getting better all the time.
We're getting better all the time. Yeah, if you plug into your little tablet there, you'll be able to hear her.
I can see you, April, if that means anything.
That means
Grayson doesn't need to be. This is my interview.
Oh no, I want to hear it. Don't make me go back and watch it because I went and watched yours several times.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming for you.
I needed to be prepared for my.
April,
for my-
did you actually have 40 questions? I didn't go back and check.
Questions. I did
Okay.
3 or 4 of them. And
What?
when I asked you if you've ever been chased by a rooster, that actually was a question later in the interview.
Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
It's important to know. I didn't really hurt your feelings. And I thought you knew that I had already kind of picked you when I went on reality TV and wore your Darling podcast shirt. Yeah. You should know I love you. I do.
I know. It's all good, and I think that you, in the end, should have more than 2 friends.
No, 3 maybe. I don't. When I say like lots of friends, I mean like people that put hanging out with on a regular basis. I don't mean like people that I would say hi to at the door, ask how their mom is.
Yeah, does that mean I'm going to have to hang out with you on a regular basis?
Probably.
Why would you not want to?
Yeah, why would you want to hang out with this hot mess over here? I mean, you saw what happened before we went live last time when my down and everything just was burning down in my house.
Yeah, Grayson, you weren't there for that. This was like pre-live. I literally sat there for 10 minutes while her kids screamed at the top of his lungs, and I just sat there like this, like it was just like, that's my life on a regular basis, you know that. So there was just like you didn't even get an inch out of me, and you were just like, Nikki, you are the most patient person on the face of the earth. How did you get to be so patient? What do you think I said to her?
I could take a few guesses, but why don't you tell me what you said?
You know exactly what I said to her. I said, have you met my husband?
Goodness.
He teaches me patience every single day, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah, it's how I practice gratitude in my life.
Okay.
He really does make you have to practice an extra special kind of patience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That sounds like something you learned to say in marriage counseling.
We've never been in marriage counseling.
Oh, well, I have. I'll tell you what they say.
Okay.
Goodness.
So are you ready for your questions?
I was born ready.
Okay. That wasn't one of the questions, by the way.
Okay.
I feel like we need some music background, but I don't really have it. Okay, April. Question 1. What?
I just felt like we just went from fun to serious.
Oh.
I know what she's going to ask me.
That's how it was with her interview, too. She was like, all right, here we go. Question 1. What is the worst Phil Collins song? If you don't get this, I'm never talking to you again.
It's In the Air of the Night. Everybody knows
Never is not. But, all right. I started off with the most important question.
Okay.
That most important to me, anyway. How many loads of clean laundry can you fit on your couch at one time?
7.
She knows the answer. I love it.
Honey, I have a sectional, so probably more, but when it gets to 7, that's when I start getting the looks from my partner where he's like, what do you even do during the day? And I was like, nothing. Humans alive and run a business. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Not laundry.
Yes, but if you don't know how many loads your couch can hold, we can't be friends.
Thank you.
Because that means you don't know. Like, you don't know the struggle.
Yeah, like if I come into your house and it doesn't smell a little bit like wet diaper, like we're not
Right.
friends. Maybe like wet diaper and Scentsy. That's what my house smells like always. But
Yeah, ours is wet diaper and wet dog food, usually the mix. I'm sorry. And we usually have some kind of like patchouli going somewhere.
like actual incense.
Oh yeah, we're real hippies.
Just it's in the room with the beaded curtain. That's how we know.
Oh, it's just all tapestries, actually. Once you grow a little bit older, it's all tapestry, not beads anymore.
It's not
It's
beads.
very hippie-like.
Yeah.
Is it still black lights and black light posters? And
We keep that limited to the basement. This isn't my interview anymore, April. Stop it.
as you were, okay, 7 loads.
How does it feel to not completely panic when you find out that you're pregnant?
I don't know.
Really?
Really.
Because you seemed extremely calm when you told me you were pregnant with Wally.
Oh, yeah. No, I keep the panic on the inside usually. But also, like, I am on Zoloft, and so I just don't care much about anything. Like, something terrible could happen, and I'd be like, okay. So, yeah.
You just don't feel it at all?
Not in an outward way. It's kind of neat. I love it.
That is like a superpower. Yeah.
It's a super
Yeah.
pill.
It's a super pill. What is your quick fix dinner for your kids?
Macaroni and cheese.
Always mac and cheese to the
Or-
rescue.
Frozen burritos or those personal frozen pizzas.
Mm.
Or
Does it have hot dogs in it though? That's what I want to know.
So I thought she was going to say that.
because I can't eat hot dogs that are not all beef anymore. Like prior to owning a hot dog stand, I was like bar S hot dogs and we ate them all the time. But now I have to get like the fancy good hot dogs and you have to cook them fully. And there's like a whole thing. So I can't put hot dogs in my macaroni and cheese anymore. It doesn't taste right.
I could never put hot dogs in my macaroni and cheese.
You also can't boil.
I can't eat boiled hot dogs either.
No.
All right.
Oh my god, hot dogs and macaroni and cheese is great. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's like the staple of my childhood. That and hot dogs and like pork and beans, beanie weenies. Yes to all.
Yeah, we already established I was too high class. I don't know for that, which is so not true. But
Very-
okay. What do you do when there's time left on the microwave?
Okay, so I let the microwave go until it beeps. And then I take my stuff out, which is usually dinner for the family, and set it on the table. However, no one else in my family will do that. And they stop the microwave like 10 seconds or 2 seconds before it goes off. I don't mind. I let it beep. I let it go.
And if they leave it with 2 seconds or 10 seconds left on the microwave and you see that, what do you do?
I just add 30 seconds and another 30 seconds to whatever it is I'm cooking. I just press the start button enough times.
Okay, I guess that's acceptable. Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I have to clear off the microwave if there's time on it. It's like a thing.
Goodness.
I know.
Let it finish each time, right?
Oh, it has to. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's annoying if there's too much time still on there.
Yeah. Okay, April, if we were walking together in public
Okay.
and someone approached us and started talking to us, and I looked over at you and did one of these,
Okay.
what would you think that I meant?
Oh, that they're going to talk our ear off and that I need to make an excuse to leave. At least me. I would bring you too if you needed to go. If you looked panicked, I would be like, oh my gosh, I just cut my foot and my shoe is filling up with blood.
That's acceptable. It's not the most correct answer, but it's acceptable.
Okay. What is
the most correct answer is that you would pretend that we were a lesbian couple and give me a hug and say that we needed to go because I was meeting your parents that night.
I get mistaken for a lesbian all the time. And so I'm good at this. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Just you wait.
That was the most correct answer.
Yeah, I will always be your lesbian girlfriend. Don't worry. I've got you.
It works because I bring the man energy.
Well, you have this. I actually, Moria and I took a picture, and she said, remember that time that you took that picture of us and you decided we looked like a lesbian couple and that you were the man one? And I was like, yeah. Last year, and to just, I've not been wearing makeup. I just don't care. I just had a baby. So yeah, just a man lesbian.
Okay, so this is a true story. I was down at the bus station with, or the shuttle station with a friend of mine who at the time was pregnant, and she's a very femme-looking woman, and this couple there were just nasty to us because we were like walking, and I had Trenton, and she was pregnant. And my friend could not understand why this couple was being like super nasty to us. And I told her, and I'm like, I get this all the time. Like this happens to me all the time because of this. Like people just assume that I am one way or the other, and especially like me and like this ultra femme like pregnant lady next to me, and we have like this young child, and like we're not holding hands or anything, we're just walking around. But I'm like, she thinks that we are a lesbian couple with a pregnant woman. Like that's why she's being mean to us. And all of a sudden, like it just snapped. She just realized, she's like, whoa. She's like, you get that all the time? Like, yeah. Like, you don't have to deal with this because you're a really ultra pretty female, but try to be anything different than what people think that you should be, and then you're gonna get that. You're gonna get treated like that.
That's awful.
Sometimes.
No, Haley and I. So my employees sometimes, if we're offered alcohol, I don't care if they drink at work. I don't know if I should say that. We're at this big festival, and some guy comes over and he says, hey, can I buy you a beer? And I said, I don't really want a beer because I'm pregnant, but maybe Haley would want a beer. And she's like, oh, I'm good. And he's like, oh, are you guys, is it your baby? And he thought that we were having this baby together, and I just go with it. And I'm like, yeah, we have 5 kids at home already, and when you know. And she's like, yeah. He started crying and hugged us.
Are you serious?
Yes, and never in my life as a straight woman has anybody ever cried and hugged me when they found out I was pregnant, like in a happy way.
But so, only when they thought you were a pregnant lesbian woman?
Yeah, when I was a pregnant lesbian, it was the best. It was the best. So just know.
You should have at least one more kid and have it with a lesbian. And then you'll have that true experience.
Well, I can't be the mom now.
Oh, that's right. You can't.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. What is the best food combination?
Well, obviously sweet and salty.
I was gonna say chocolate and peanut butter, but sweet, does that?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Butter, also French fries and milkshakes.
Yep. We're only on question 7, by the way. Question 7, legit, this is the question. What is wrong with everybody?
What is wrong with everybody?
Yeah.
Not everybody smokes pot.
What?
Not everyone smokes pot.
Yeah. Okay. If you were to go on vacation right now for a week, what kind of vacation would you go on?
Oh, beachy, probably. Or Vegas.
Kids or no kids?
No kids.
Okay.
None.
We could be friends. People get really mad if I say I want to go on vacation without my kids. But I need a vacation.
Yeah, like so far away from them.
I need to lay on a beach and not be like, don't eat sand. Don't eat the sand.
I am not going to understand, yell at them about the undercurrent and things like that. Not doing it. Mm-mm.
Right.
No.
April, what wakes you up in the morning?
Casey.
Yeah.
I sleep as late as he lets me every morning, so usually till about 7:30 or 8. I have no alarms.
Isn't that wonderful?
Well,
I'm
that's-
looking at Grayson, who literally has the same life. Like, he doesn't, his dogs get him up at like 10 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So I'm looking at him going, isn't that nice? But he doesn't have to get up for anything in the morning either.
No,
Sometimes they wake me up sooner. It all depends. So
whenever they feel like it.
What chore do you despise? Usually my bladder. My bladder is what wakes me up in the morning. That's what gets me out of bed every day, is my bladder. What chore do you despise doing?
Oh goodness, I don't love dishes. Dishes are not my favorite, and I also don't like to put away laundry.
Oh, that's how you know that that your couch can hold 7 loads of clean laundry.
That's exactly how I know that.
Uh-huh. Do you guys have a dishwasher?
We do.
Hmm.
Do you
And
have?
you still don't like doing the dishes?
No, you still have to like rinse them off and stuff.
I know. I hate touching dirty dishes. It's gross. What is your favorite genre of music?
I like disco.
What? Disco?
Yeah, disco or like Russian hype music right now.
Why am I not surprised?
Probably just because I don't know, I have like a sparkling party personality.
Yeah. Okay, so the symphony, we're broadcasting live from the back of the Numerica Performing Arts Center, the back of the PAC right now. And they have this symphony orchestra that's set up to play tomorrow night. That they're going to be doing this like When in Rome production tomorrow. And there's a harp player that is practicing in the back right now. So I don't think you can hear it, but like we can hear it. It's like,
hey, it's making this interview nice.
It's so cool.
Is that who it is? Is it Meredith?
I don't know who it is. It was a woman.
It's a
That
it's a
that we
woman. I
saw
don't know
earlier,
who.
but I
I don't
didn't
know her
catch her
name.
name.
I feel like
So,
sexist
we'll check out.
to say, but it needs to be a woman playing the harp in my head.
Oh yeah, totally a woman. Yeah.
Hair and is wearing some sort of toga style dress. It's not a thing.
She was very hippie-ish.
Very.
For sure.
Okay.
Okay. Did you play an instrument back in school?
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, wait, let me try and guess.
Okay.
You look like a flautist.
Yes. Because this one
Thank you.
at band camp.
Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, you're a dirty one.
I am not a dirty one, but that was like the movie of my generation.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? If you didn't have kids,
Okay.
how would you be filling your time?
American Pie.
If I didn't have kids, how would I be filling my time? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm crafty sometimes. And so, like, prior to having the younger two, I only have my older children every other week. So I know exactly what I would do. We would pick up furniture off the side of the road and, like, stand it down and paint it, or we paint pictures for our walls. I like to sew. Obviously, I like to twirl baton. I'm a fantastic tap dancer. I own my own business. So I'd probably have, like, a lot more than 2 stands. But, yeah.
Wow.
Fun fact, everything in my house, all of our furniture was free or secondhand. Including
That is impressive.
Yeah.
Really?
It wasn't anything that we tried. We just, when we got together, we were both divorced and poor. So yeah.
How many times have you been married?
1. So I am not married, but I was about 8 or 9 years. And now I don't know. It scares me, the idea of getting married again. So we'll see what happens, but we've been together for 7 years.
Why does it scare you?
I didn't have a good divorce. Like, we're great right now, but I don't know. I didn't take anything from that divorce. And I don't know.
Okay. That went too personal. She's like, that was too personal of a question for this friend interview. Okay, this is actually on here. How did you get to be so sarcastic?
Well, my mom, mostly. So my parents are funny. They're funny in different ways, though. My mom is really dry and sarcastic, and my dad is really like hyper and like slapstick humor and like practical jokes. And so somewhere in between there, I got a mix of what my humor is.
Are your parents still alive?
Yes.
Oh, great. If you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it or would you just let it slip?
I don't know. There's vomit on my sweater already.
There's vomit on my sweater. Is it mom's spaghetti?
No, it's like, but there is actually vomit on this. It's just like a bleach dye, though, so you can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wore this for you.
I have kid snot and kid bloody nose on me because he woke up with bloody nose this morning and snot all over him. So it's just how we roll. If you don't have at least 2 to 3 bodily fluids on you, on your person, then I'm not sure you can genuinely call yourself a parent.
This is true. Or you have a nanny.
Right.
But
But even if you have a nanny, if you give your kid a hug, you're getting at least 2 bodily fluids on you.
Agreed. I don't like to talk either. My kids are gross.
Yeah, and your kid, like your babies don't go to daycare. So like they don't come home in a petri dish of germs.
No, not too bad, but they go to like grandma's house and then the other grandma's house. That's kind of like daycare, except not.
No, it's not actually. I'm sorry, I'm going to call you out on that.
Yeah, no, it's daycare. I don't have to pay for it. But also, do you ever wonder how daycare ladies do that, where they like have 10 kids and they lay them all down on the floor and they're like, it's nap time, and everyone goes to sleep, and you try and do that by yourself at home, and then you are like, why can't I do this? Well, how can she 11 kids? They're not even hers. I made this one.
Yep.
Yeah,
I ask them all the time. I'm like, does he just lay down and go to sleep when you tell him it's nap time? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, don't be so calm about it.
He doesn't even.
I'm just. There's got to be something that you're not telling me. Some voodoo that you do that I don't do.
Yes. That's how I feel about that. The first one, Jillian was little, she would set her down and she would just do her hair elaborately, like with these tiny little rubber bands, and just, I mean,
that's what they do with Trenton.
Yeah. And you're like, how do you get her to sit still? And I was trying to get her to stop one day, and then the daycare lady's sister is over there, and then she says something to Jillian in Spanish, and Jillian stops running around the circle, walks over and just stands right in front of her, calm, and waits. And I'm like, what is happening?
They do that with Trenton. It takes me like 20 minutes to get like 2 little things in his hair because he's like, and then I go to pick him up at daycare and he's got like cornrows in his hair, basically. And and then I'm like, guys, it looks really cool. I love that it's out of his face, but literally it's going to take me an hour to get all of these little hair ties out of his hair before I give him a bath tonight or a shower. And it does, because he's like, it's even harder getting him out of his hair at the end of the night.
Get that kid a shower cap.
A shower cap?
Yeah, you can be a thug for a couple days. Come on.
Oh, he doesn't go in every single day either, but yeah, he's a showerer for sure.
He's a showerer?
He takes showers. At 1.5, he takes showers.
Does he take them by himself, or do you just stick him in there with you?
He takes them with his dad.
Oh, like Casey will take him if I put him in there with me, but not like on his own.
No, he's not on his own. Yeah, go ahead, kid.
Figure it out. Okay.
He's a super self-sufficient kid. Okay, we're getting way off track here. What era of fashion do you wish would come back into style?
Oh goodness. I really like the 50s.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I can accept that.
Really?
I think you can.
I get to wear with like late
like
50s,
pinup 50s,
like pinup, like Crinlin, yeah, anything
like
that.
kitschy 50s.
Yeah.
Okay. Not like you want to be like the stay-at-home mom. You are a stay-at-home mom, kind of.
Well, I'm also like a badass business owner.
Yeah, you are a badass business owner. I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how you do it all. In a horror movie, how far into the movie before you get killed off?
I'd say 32.
32 minutes?
Yeah, I add a lot to the plot for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you're what is it?
I don't understand how she can survive the apocalypse, but she can't survive a horror movie. That's just me. Just curious.
It's totally different.
I mean, those are important questions to ask as well.
Right.
Is it Freddy? Am I in Jeepers Creepers? Are we in Saw? What kind of horror movie? Is it like a scary thing, or is it like The Walrus where someone's going to come in and turn me into a walrus? That movie ruined my life.
That was the worst movie ever. Oh my gosh.
Who
who is the guy? Justin Long, right? Justin Long was the walrus guy?
Yes.
That was so freaky for people. How did all three of us? This was such an obscure movie. And yet all three of us have seen that movie.
You have to like horror movies.
I don't like horror movies.
I do.
I hate horror movies.
Important, like every important movie ever made, I have not watched. But like any cult classic, any B film, like you've not heard of any of the things that I enjoy, I'm sure. Like, and then I'll meet some people like my partner does, and I love it, but nobody else gets what we're talking about ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I have a tattoo of a Babadook on the back of my arm, and most people have no idea what it is. So the people who do come up and they're like, "Is that a Babadook on the back of your arm?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like it's kind of like this small little cult,
right,
classic movie that people know.
Like the T-shirt, the Babadook T-shirt that I wear. You're like, you know who that is?
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah, and that's another horror movie, and I'm sticking to the fact that I hate horror movies, even though I just know two, and I have one tattooed on me.
How many tattoos do you have?
Nope. You don't get to ask the question. Nope. That's like a disqualification. If you wanted to know that, you had your time and place to ask those questions.
I sure did.
Sorry.
Hey, Nikki.
What is the best part about staying overnight in a hotel?
The amount of pillows that are at your disposal.
No, that's the wrong answer. I'm just kidding. There are no wrong answers.
Okay.
It's her opinion, but it's
no,
fine. You take all the pillows. If we're ever staying in a hotel, you can have all the pillows.
Are you like not a pillow user?
I just need one pillow. But that's not the best thing about staying in a hotel. Obviously, it's that you don't have to clean it, and if they have a jacuzzi tub, like the jacuzzi.
Okay, that's weird because I always clean up my room. I even remove my own garbage. I'm weird. I'm so OCD.
Okay. So the tub is where it's at for you?
Yeah, the jacuzzi tub is definitely where it's at for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand.
Well, and not all of them have a jacuzzi tub, but
that's
whatever.
True.
What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Camry or a Tacoma. We like to get the Toyotas here. So my car is but my partner drives that because he drives further to work, and his car is the truck, and I drive that because I use it for work. So.
We're a Yoda family also.
Are you?
Yeah. Yep. We have like 17 cars and they're all Yodas.
I can vouch for that.
17 is a good.
It is a good number. Okay, April, do you know what a jug handle is?
what a jug handle is?
A jug handle.
A jug handle?
Uh-huh.
Is it like a handle on a jug, or is it like?
It's like a real thing. It's not a handle on a jug.
No, I don't know what a jug handle is unless this is some sort of ICP thing. Okay.
I didn't hear very clearly.
Oh, I don't know what a jug handle is unless this is some sort of ICP code.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm. A jug handle is the way you make a left-hand turn in the state of New Jersey.
I've never been to New Jersey, but how does one go about this?
So instead of doing a roundabout, you actually go through the light and do a loop around, have to go up and around, and then make a left-hand turn.
I don't like it. But
I know, it's awful. It's the worst method of making a left-hand turn. You have to go through the light, then go right, make a loop around, go across the highway to make a left.
Okay, I can stand up for you on this. We do have that in the state, actually in Spokane, if you ever go up to Mount Washington, or Mount Spokane, excuse me. There's
a few, but they're very few, but they're everywhere in the state of New Jersey. So everybody who's complaining about roundabouts around here, just remember, could be worse.
Oh yeah, those are worse. Could be
living in a state full of jug handles.
Yeah, those are terrible.
And I don't know whose idea it was. So there you go. All right, give me your best explanation of what you think a Goomba is. What is a Goomba?
It's on Mario. Bad guy on Mario.
A bad guy on Mario?
Not the mug.
But hey, that's pretty close. Okay, you're in the right nationality.
Flying mushroom that jumps and flies.
A mushroom that jumps and flies. No, it's an Italian slang word for you're my Goomba, you're my friend, he's my Goomba, you're my Goomba. So if we're gonna be friends, you got to know what Goomba means, because hey, Nikki's my Goomba, April's my Goomba.
That gnome up in Leavenworth, they move around. His name is Woody Goomba. Is that what his name is? That?
I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Hey, Goomba? He's the gnome. Also,
have you heard of it, Grayson?
Gnomes all around, and that they have little scavenger hunts, and people can.
Oh.
It's like geocaching.
Sort of, but I know they have a little gnome at the post office up there, and you just go around and they do gnomes, and then in the fall they do scarecrows. Watch the gnome. Go for it.
Okay. I've got a couple more questions, and then we're in this reverse friend interview. This is ridiculous. What is the best idea for a kid's birthday party?
Can you give me more information on this kid?
No.
No? Okay, the best idea for a kid's birthday party, one time for Jillian's 5th birthday, we went to the WIT house in Leavenworth, and Cinderella put on a party for my little girls, and then instead of doing a cake, we did cupcakes that were shaped like teacups that my friend Becky and I made, and then so a horse-drawn carriage showed up in Leavenworth, and Cinderella said, "Oh, my carriage is here." And then all 4 of the girls that just got done with their tea party, and then Cinderella had put glitter on them, got on the carriage with their little crowns on and rode around downtown Leavenworth waving at all the people because they thought they were princesses. That was the best party I've ever thrown.
Wow. That's not the right answer, though. Karaoke is clearly the best kid's birthday party idea ever.
Oh, that's
okay.
But that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Speaking of karaoke, what is your go-to karaoke song?
So I don't usually karaoke because I do not have the ability to sing. But if I do drink enough alcohol on a night out, I do think I can rap. So usually it's Tricky by Run DMC.
Oh, we have to make that happen. How often do you eat hot dogs?
Every time I'm at work.
So at least once a week?
Well, it depends on how much I work. Sometimes up to 4 to 5 times a week.
Really?
They're delicious.
They're delicious.
They are delicious.
All right.
Opportunity to just have like delicious hot dogs all the time, you'd be like, oh, let me put Fritos on this one. It's the best.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, it is. I love hot dogs.
I love hot dogs. You
I
have
love
to like hot
April's
dogs.
hot dogs the most.
Mario.
Julie dogs is awesome.
Why does that feel forced?
Nope.
Okay.
Not
It's
at
genuine?
all. It was so genuine.
Okay.
It's so genuine. All right, April, are you a natural blonde?
Yes.
That's not fun.
No.
Do you like to dye your hair ever?
Sometimes. I have pictures of me, if you look like on my profile back where I was like bleaching my hair, but no, if I don't bleach it, like I have no color in it right now at all. And so this is it. And I've been inside all winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually I will, but I haven't lately. That's all I have. That was my last question.
Those were
That was it? Did she pass? I want to know.
Yes.
I don't know. Not really.
Okay. I'll allow it. I think we're probably going to hang out anyway. I think that I agree with you on enough stuff that our friendship might be fun.
I think there might be a basis for something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then when you finally get baby fever, I'll just hand you this baby. And you'll be like, Wally.
Yeah, so this is an interesting dynamic that I think April and I have kind of had this realization earlier today that April has always had the ability to have children, and I don't want to get too personal, but like has had no like emotional change since now she is deciding not to have any more children, right? And me, I went, and I don't even know if April knows this or not, but most of my life have been told like I couldn't have children, right? So I went most of my life with that mentality, and then whoops, here comes Trenton. So I like had this reverse life that you had, because I spent most of my life going, I'm never going to have children. And then here I am with a child. And then now I'm like, what am I doing with the rest of my life? Now I have to think about whether I want to have more kids or not, but we're not having any more kids. But I'm like, but do I have to worry about that now? So it's just, like, I have such an emotional like connection of, am I going to have any more kids or not have any more kids? And you're just like, I'm not having any more kids. I don't care. I'm done with it. And I'm just like, I'm still like so emotionally attached to pregnancy and like having kids and not having kids. And you're just like, nah, I don't care.
I've had 4 and I have 5 in my house right now. I've had lots of years. And when I had my first 2, my ex-husband had 2 older kids that were teenagers at the time of having babies. So I've done this before with teenagers and babies. And so I know what they turn into.
Right.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. But I mean, part of me was like thinking that it might be fun to have another one. But I'm also like, I don't want to.
I don't want to.
I just want my body back in my bedroom back. Yeah.
Do you ever feel like Casey, who is, I mean, you have this cute little baby right here, right? And Casey is about the same age as Trenton, who's like a year and a half, right? Just about 2 years, going into 2 years. So do you ever feel like Casey's going to just get forgotten about? Like you had Wally so close after that Wally's just going to get adored and so much attention. It's like, where is that other one? Where did he go? Is he in the toilet? Is he in the dryer? Where is he?
I know you just have one kid, but Casey is a little angel baby, like even though he gets into stuff, and you don't get 2 good kids in a row.
Right. That's why we are not trying for another one, because we're like, you do not get struck by lightning twice.
No. No. And you get one and you're like, oh, this is so great. I could just do this forever. And then you get a second one and your second one is just like the second child is a demon every time. They mellow out when they get older, but like I guarantee you they're demons every time. Like and this one has like the grossest bodily fluid ever. Like the biggest boogers and the stinkiest toots he just was born to wear Jenko jeans.
I know what you mean by that. Yeah.
Attitude about him where like I'm waiting for him to grow into it. I'm excited about it. But yeah, he's my little Jenko jeans angry 90s baby.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why I don't think that I would think about having another kid, just because I couldn't even believe that I have just the one, to be honest. I don't know if I even have the mental capacity to fit another child into my life, but we talk about that all the time, where I'm just like, Trenton is just not the perfect kid, but he's just such a good kid, and he's awesome. Like he's smart and healthy and well-adjusted and all of that. And we go, there's no way that we could do this twice. Like we would have another kid and he would be a nightmare. So let's not test the waters here.
So like my original second kid, the one that's, my second, he didn't sleep through the night until he was 6 years old. Not months, years. 6 years old.
Stop it. I couldn't even. Do you see these? Like I still have bags under my eyes. Like I don't feel like I have gotten a full night's sleep since before I was pregnant.
Do you like just get nervous and wake up?
Yeah, I wake up at least 2 to 3 times a night.
I think what you're going through, and I think that's why you might not see the whole thing with Wally, where I'm like, man, I don't care if I have more kids, is that when you are a first-time mom, you go through this thing where you completely lose your identity for a little bit, where you were Nikki and you had all of these things going for you and you could do whatever you wanted to do whenever you wanted to do it. And then all of a sudden you're a mom. And you have to, if you want to do anything, you have to take that baby to daycare or make sure that he's okay. And it's really hard to lose who you are as a person. Kind of adjust to that. And so one is really hard when you first start having them because it's hard. And then after that, it just gets easier. I lost my own personality or my own identity like when I was 23. Just who I am. But it takes a little bit to get to that. It doesn't just happen overnight. And I imagine that it happens whenever you have a baby, whether you're 16 or whether you're 50 and it's your first baby. It's hard to adjust.
Yeah. And I did have a kid a little bit later on in life. And it was, I constantly say there's a reason why pregnancy took 9 months. Like not only because the baby needed to grow and like develop, but because like it took me 9 months to accept and grow into actually being a parent. And even like when he was here, like was like I was in labor going, I'm not ready.
To have the first one, and then like you get them home and you have all this stuff that you don't need for them, and you're like, oh, but I was sure that I needed that.
Yeah.
A bottle of Creft just sitting on your washing machine that you'll never use because we know your genetics and your child doesn't have delicate skin.
Right. It is so many things that I was but I'm overly prepared for everything in my life. Like that's my personality, is to be overly prepared for everything. But now I see that trait in Trenton, which is so funny. You know, it like he has such a mix of his two parents. Like earlier we had Charley Voorhis, who is a filmmaker, and he did this film about extreme sports, and he was an extreme athlete when he was younger, and snowboarding and all that. And you know, Ryan, Trenton's dad, is into that and snowboarding and skateboarding. So we have these things all around the house. And I'm like, oh gosh, I know, Trenton is half his dad, so he's going to naturally want to get into these things and be curious about these things because he loves to do whatever his dad and his older brother is doing all the time, whether it's mowing the lawn or looking at vinyl records or whatever he's doing, right? Doing the dishes. So, Ryan gets on this like longboard, and then next thing you know, Trenton is trying to climb onto the longboard and like put his feet on it and like move around, and it's on wheels. Like the kid is gonna he falls off. So we're trying to show him, but I see that he watches first and then like wants to see how everything works and then kind of get up to it and touch it and like move it. Like he has to observe and like see his dad do it and then kind of touch it and then like see how it works and then move it. And so he like does his research like I do and just overly knowledgeable about it. And then he has to take a step on it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, kiddo. You really are a bit of both of us.
Does he have a little helmet and little elbow pads?
Not yet, but we're there this summer. It's gonna happen,
And you can get him a dino helmet. It looks like he has a mohawk.
Right? Yeah, he's gonna be the cutest little skateboarder by the time he's 2. I know it. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Now, when is his birthday?
June 13th.
Okay.
He's a Gemini.
Oh. Okay,
yeah.
He's April 30th. They're really close together.
Oh, yeah, they are really close together. Yeah. Oh, boy. But you never... is he taking a nap? Is that where he is? Okay.
Mommy's done with this. He's not going to bed. And then yesterday I had my surgery and my partner got sick. So, take care of me, but he's...
Oh, dear. Okay. Well, so the deal is now that you have conducted your friend interview of me. I've done my reverse friend interview of you. What is your plan now?
Well, I think our plan now is to hang out.
Well, I mean, your plan. Don't you have a plan where you are interviewing other people?
Well, I'm going to interview Grayson for sure, and I'm definitely going to interview Aaron Halverson, and there are a few other people that I want to interview. But I think we're going to be friends.
Mm-hmm. What if I don't approve of these other interviews that you're doing? That's so silly. I would never. I can't even say it with a straight face.
No, you can't.
Louise.
I know. I want you to have all of the friends.
Well,
all right, April. Jeez.
In Moria, and then after that, we'll start seeing if I can add to it. I can't add things that stress me out. You know what I mean? Like everything that goes good into your life, you have to just pick the good stuff, and then you have to just hold on to the stressful things that you already have in your basket because you don't have the emotional capacity to kick them out.
Wow, that got pretty deep really quick, huh?
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good things, and then just,
Where are you going to be next with your Dooley Dogs cart?
We are going to be at Guns N' Hoses on Saturday at the Town Toyota Center. And then there is a Bighorns basketball game at Sunday at the Town Toyota Center. And there's also like a whole cornhole tournament thing, a whole cornhole league that goes on before the basketball games do. Every single basketball game.
Wow.
So if you're interested in cornhole, that would be where to go.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
We'll be there. And then we'll be down at Rails and Nails.
Fun. Nice.
That's gonna be fun.
Are you gonna be at the Home Expo?
I would like to be, but I haven't contacted that person yet.
Okay. If not, then you can come hang out with us.
I will.
Darling Productions is gonna be there, so
I would like April to come over and hang out.
It's gonna happen. Are you gonna
happen
too?
What's that?
Are you gonna interview everybody there too?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Not everybody, but we'll do some interviews. It's gonna be a fun weekend. All Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 10th, 11th, and 12th. So not this weekend, but next weekend.
I thought that it might be fun because I don't know if I can do it or not, but I'm on this Facebook page, like, Wenatchee Moms Questions and Advice. And then I'm on another one called Moms Need Friends Too. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
That one. And I think I'm going to start doing friendship interviews and then posting them on that page.
Uh-huh.
That way, everybody's been interviewed. And if you like someone, you can message them and be like, we're hanging out. Instead of just being surprised when someone brings organic snacks. You're just like.
Then if you want that person, then you are, I'd like it. Do all of the interviews. Be the spokesperson.
I would like to interject here.
Sure.
So I'm going to say that any questions that you want to ask me, April, or you can ask me whatever you want. And there is no topic that is off limits.
Whatever.
Hey, I'm going to make this fair.
Whatever.
I don't think I'll ask you any of those questions, though. I mean, I can if you want to and if you are comfortable with that. But mostly, I just want to know, like, what was the last color you painted your toenails? What animal has split hooves but does not have a ruminant stomach? These are things I know.
Oh, my gosh. Blue.
Okay. You guys will have your time together, so just get a room, all right? You two just get a room. This is my podcast. I love the both of you. April, we're going to let you go because we got to cover some other stuff here before we get Matthew Pippin on. So thank you for indulging us and making us laugh and smile all the time.
Oh,
Let's get a good look at that baby.
Oh, this baby?
Yeah, that baby, because that's the only one we have in our midst right. What is that? Hi, baby.
Look at that cutie.
Wait for it. See if he'll get it. Okay, this baby. Also, tell me I said hi, because he has held this baby. After
we lost our Binky. Hi, babies. Okay. Thank you, April. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh, wow. Wow, they've had a jam-packed show today. If you're just joining us, this is the What's Up Wenatchee podcast. We do a live show every Friday from noon to 2. We are going a little bit late today because we have one last guest that is coming on, but we're kind of keeping things flexible to be able to accommodate their schedule today. And that's the great thing about doing a live broadcast and kind of having a free form like this. So Matthew Pippin going to be making his way to the back of the PAC today. That is where we are broadcasting live, helping to celebrate the Numerica Performing Arts Center and their launch of the second season of their podcast, which is called Back of the PAC. You could check all the first season. There's 15 episodes in the first season of Back of the PAC with a lot of jam-packed information and really great interviews with people like Jamie Donegan and Mike Salmon and Marissa Collins and all of some board members and the Apple Blossom musical from last year, which was Wizard of Oz. So you can catch up on season 1, and then on Monday, the launch of season 2 of Back of the PAC is going to be released. And just to have a little bit of fun, I do have my hands on the graphic for the Back of the PAC season 2 episode 1 graphic with the headshot of the season 2 episode 1 guest, who's going to be interviewed by J. Woody Lots, silhouetted out. So this is what we're going to do right now. I have, here, show this. Anybody out there who can guess, the first person who can guess who this person is silhouetted in this picture here. There's the Back of the PAC season 2, the guest for their first episode of season 2. That is the person. To the right, to the left, to the left, to your left.
To my left? Oh.
Yeah.
I am way
to your right. No, just a little bit, right? Can you not see the screen?
No, I cannot.
Come here, give it to me. Here. I think it's right
There you go.
here. I don't know what I'm doing either. You had it, but you lost it. Okay, Back of the Pack season 2. Can you figure out who the silhouetted person is? No, you still don't have it.
Oh my
It needs to be,
goodness.
like right here. Yes,
There you-
perfect. That is perfect. You will get this Safelite Autoglass glass cleaner, streak free. It is professional grade from our local Safelite dealer. Yeah. Representative. That's the word I was looking for. From our local Safelite Autoglass representative. These are like, I have to ask him what the retail value of this, because I think it's like $50 for a can of that stuff, because it works so pretty darn good. So if you need a hint on who this silhouette is, do you think we need a hint? Here's our hint.
One hint.
Our hint is, in 1985, she was the apple of our eye. In 1985, she was the apple of our eye. Whose silhouette is that? You can guess it. No, that's not what I'm gonna do. That's all. If you can figure out who that was, put it in the comments, and the first person to give us the correct answer is going to go home with that glass cleaner from Safelite Autoglass, professional grade glass cleaner. And our other opportunity for a ticket giveaway to help celebrate the second season of Back of the Pack is over on our Supercast, for our Supercast community. And anybody who is part of that Supercast community, I've got the website right there, www.supercast.com. You got this week and next week to get yourself signed up as a subscriber. And then we are going to randomly pick a winner out of all of the subscribers at any level. We're giving you that opportunity. We're giving away a pair of tickets to Step Africa, which is the professional step show global phenomenon that is coming to the Numerica Performing Arts Center on April 11th. For our Supercast community, and anybody who is part of that Supercast community, I don't know. I've got the website right there,
I think we can only feed it.
Supercast.com. You got this week and next week to get yourself signed up as a subscriber, and then we are going to randomly. Do we know where it's coming from?
One was me and one is you.
Oh,
there we go.
Isn't that nice?
Gotta love that feedback.
It, right? I love it. Okay, so you can go to the www.supercast.com. Okay, what else am I covering here today? I had so much to do. Thank you to Charley Voorhis from Vortex Productions. He was on a little bit earlier today, giving us an idea of what we can expect from the screenings of the project Pivot, and that is happening tonight up at the Snowy Owl Theater. And just go to projectpivot.com, and they are going to have all of those other screenings up there, because they're sold out. The one at Snowy Owl sold out for tonight, and also they got a couple of other ones coming up. There are things happening this weekend, so if you're out there looking for something to do this weekend, you got Wenatchee Wild Hockey. Chilliwack is coming into town tomorrow night. You got Guns and Hoses. The Police versus the Fire, a hockey match at 4, and then Wild versus the Chiefs, puck drop at 6 p.m. Special Olympics are in town this weekend, so their opening ceremony is tonight at 6:30 p.m. They took a couple of years of a hiatus off, but the events are going to be taking place all weekend long at the Leavenworth Fish Hatchery up at Mission Ridge and at the Wenatchee and Eastmont schools. As we know, the Symphony Orchestra is here tomorrow night. They're doing their performance of When in Rome. Doors open at 6, performances at 7 p.m. Tickets are still on sale. And if you didn't know, tickets for the Apple Blossom musical have gone on sale at numericapac.org. And I know Vern, who is going to be the Shrek for this year's Shrek the Musical. And I got a chance to check out his Facebook page, where he has just given us a little itty bitty sneak peek of him in his Shrek costuming and makeup. So stick around, because before we end today's broadcast, I will give you a little sneak peek of Vern as Shrek. And we're going to be doing some podcasting work with the NCW Economic Development District. That is the people who are in charge of the Supernova competition. The portal is closed if you are a small business that wanted to get involved in the Supernova competition, but you can go to ncwedd.com for any business resources. They are a really good resource for small businesses if you're looking to get some extra help. Or you want to follow those involved in the Supernova competition. We're going to be helping them with some media training and some broadcast training, and then also keeping track of the Supernova competitors as they go through their boot camp process throughout the spring and into the summer and fall. I think September is when they announce the winner for that. So it's going to be a pretty fun time for those guys. So I got my friend Matthew Pippin in front of me. And he is doing the 3rd year of March of the Pippin. He's got some other fun stuff going on as well that we're going to be able to check up on. I'm just going to move this back because you're so tall.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to be.
No, you didn't mean to be tall.
I wanted to be shorter.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
But thank you for being here with us
It's
today.
nice to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. You have a lot of stuff going on always, right? So, it's always great to catch up with you and get you in one spot, because especially when we get to like the end of this month.
Then good luck
catching you, right? Because you're going to be walking and nobody knows where you are.
No, and but if they can find me, they can walk with me. I'm happy to do that. It's March of the Pippins coming up. March 26th kicks it off, ends April 1st. To raise money for the Numerica Performing Arts Center. I started it in 2021 because there was nothing going on.
Right.
And I thought this is a way to, so I'd heard about Cynthia Brown getting these grants for Riverside Playhouse, and I thought this might be something I could do to get back to this beautiful theater that I love so much, and have done wonderful productions with Mr. Donegan, Jamie Donegan, with Hot August Nights, and Music Theater of Wenatchee, working backstage most of the time for their Apple Blossom musical. I was in Wizard of Oz for half of it last year.
Oh, right, because you hurt your back.
I did, and I'm still struggling with that. So this walk is going to be interesting for me, but I'm going to do it because I can still walk. And but it's going to happen. And the first year by myself, the PAC was closed. There was nobody here, and it was just me taking donations, putting it in a bank account that I'd opened at my bank, to keep things separate. And some people said, well, I want to donate, but I don't know if this is a scam or something. And I was like, if this is a scam, I can't show my face here in this town again. And then finally, after the walk was done, it took me 2 days to get a hold of someone to take the check, because now it is starting to look like fraud, and I know this is somebody's check. But I raised $3,400 the first year. Last year, doing it with the PAC, making it more legitimate. They handled the money. I just had to walk and count my steps. I wear my Fitbit, and the only time I take it off is when I shower. I hope that's not too much information. But it gets on me, and then I move. I don't take the bus. I don't drive. I don't drive anyway. But I don't get in a vehicle. I just walk. And to walk to my day job at the museum from my house is only 4,500 steps, and I got to do 40,000 steps at least in a day to hit my goal of 275,000 steps in a week. It's about 140 miles.
I know. I love that you said that sometimes you just go into your basement and you just walk around in circles.
Yeah. I have to, and because I get, especially the last day of the first one, I got to the point where I couldn't be outside because my legs were killing me. My back was killing me. It was like, oh, there I am, and I'm doing laps in the garage. Just like, come on, you're almost there.
Yeah,
you're done. And I went and I laid down, and my husband, who's a human Valium, I'm like, I did it. It should, and he, okay, good.
Yeah.
That was it. Like,
that was it.
And
good for you, honey.
But then a nurse friend, exactly. And then a nurse friend of mine called me because I said I did it and I cannot lay down hard enough. And she called me and she said, get up. I know this is going to sound awful. Get up and move or your body's going to go into shock.
Yeah.
You got
to
cool
start to singe those
down.
muscles. Yeah.
And I was up and moving some more. And surprisingly, the next day I was fine, which really stunned me. And I did it, and I did it last year, and then we raised $4,500 last year. This year, I'm hoping to raise $5,000. I think that'd be a lovely thing to do.
Yeah,
I didn't think it'd be
cool.
like I thought it was going to be a couple of $100 that first year, and I would have been pleased with that. But $3,400, I could not believe it. And last year, 45, I couldn't believe it. And they're saying aim higher, so I'm trying.
Yeah.
In my head, now this is just March of the Pippin, but because this is the third year. And it's also the 20th anniversary of the release of the third Lord of the Rings movie. In my head, I'm calling this March of the Pippin, Return of the Queen.
I love
makes
it.
me happy in my head.
I need to make a poster. I just had the poster flash in my head. I need to make it. I just love it. And sometimes it's difficult, like as you were telling me the story, like the first year, you were like, it kind of just was this thing that you wanted to do, and people were, I don't know,
iffy,
iffy about it. Sometimes that's difficult, especially when you're just like, I just want to do something good for this place or this community or this group of people, and then people are like, well, I don't, you had a little bit of pushback.
I did, but I didn't look at it. I look at it as anything that if they don't want to see a show I'm doing or whatever, then don't go.
Right.
You don't have to contribute, It doesn't hurt you to cheer me on. Go, Matthew, go if you see me on the street. But you don't have to contribute, You don't have to message me and say, I think this is a scam. Okay. Then it's a scam and you live in your world of it's a scam. And it's the same thing with, I don't want to see that show. Well, then don't.
People want to bait you into defending yourself or defending the cause, and
I just don't have time for it.
Right, because
I'm busy. I gotta go.
If you go after all that bait, that's all you're ever going to be doing.
You're just chasing yourself. The bait.
Yeah. Instead of focusing your mind and your brain and your energy and your heart into these positive things that you're putting out there into the world. And you do that all the time. You have a lot of positive that you put out there. Like you do this, and I've seen. Oh man, I saw some of the pictures of the trivia night that you did over at the museum. Fun.
And I gave you guys a shout out too.
Oh, you did? Thank you, man. That's so
of course.
awesome.
Well, I told you I would.
I know you did. So thank you for being a man of your word. I appreciate that.
Well, Betty White, who I will never get over her passing, she said once that so many people rush to, you know what I hate? And, well, tell me what you love. What do you love? And I really focus on that too, that what do you love? And of course I have times to myself that and then I write in a journal, I get it out of my system, and then I'm good to go, but it's what you get what you put out, I think, not all the time, but I like to be nice to people. My grandma always said, just be nice to people. And I like to be nice to people. So, and a lot of people don't think it's genuine, and that's their loss.
It's true.
And because I do know that there's people out there that ruin it, that use nice as a wolf in sheep's clothing kind of thing. That's not me. I can't live my life like that. Just be nice to people.
Well, some people just aren't naturally nice, you know? but maybe they get their happiness from not being happy.
Yeah, and the misery of others.
Right.
And I just steer clear of it. And
right.
I think that if that's what makes them happy, that's not what makes me happy, and they can live over there and I'll live over here. And
exactly.
Yeah.
We just, I just don't want to mix.
Right. Yeah. We tend to attract those people, and the people, we talk about it a lot on this podcast. We tend to get into these themes of, the people that you have the same energy, you vibrate on that same energy, you tend to bring into your circles, and the people who don't, they kind of end up a little bit further away from your circles, right?
That's the marvelous thing I think about being an adult is, in high school you got stuck around those people, and then you get to leave high school and you get to find your clique, for lack of a better word, and you get to find your happiness, and I love that.
But isn't that why the Numerica Performing Arts Center is so important?
Absolutely.
Right? Because this is where so many people have found their other people.
Absolutely.
And their place that clicks.
Backstage and on stage, or off stage rather, I should say. Because there's people that they have no interest in being on the stage, but they support it, and then they come here and then they get that energy. And during the pandemic, I don't know what words I can say on here, but I will be as polite as possible, but doing something like this virtually, I know this is a different format, so this is what's to be expected, but to do the virtual performances, I compared it to masturbation, because there was the camera, there was me, I'd do the makeup, I'd do the performance, and then the camera would come off and I'd wipe it. And for who? Like, there was no feedback. Yeah. There was, like with the Radar Dames, we have a live show coming up April 29th at the Riverside Playhouse, a film noir themed burlesque show. Now, somebody like me takes off their clothes, it's funny, and it should be. And it's because confidence is sexy. But it can also be funny, and I love that. And I never dreamed at my age I'd be taking my clothes off and having a lovely time at people laughing. I just love it. But to do something like that where it's funny and I'm not hearing the laughter and it's sad.
There's no exchange of energy.
No, yeah. And because it's a ball game. I throw you this, and then what do you throw me back as an audience? And there was none of that. And I absolutely hated the virtual thing. And mind you, I'm not complaining about this platform. It's totally different. But I mean my live performances. I missed it so much.
I relate. I tried to do karaoke.
Karaoke is all in the key of me.
Well, you should probably host karaoke. I know that you're hosting trivia, which is great. Everybody thinks that, people who host events that we're all like in competition with one another. I don't think so. No. I think I love being like, go to your trivia nights or go to this person's other karaoke night. I think we're all, we're all in the same community. We all just need to support what everybody else is doing.
We have such a diverse group of people, players, artists, musicians in this valley. It's this wonderful fishbowl that how can we not support each other? Right? It'd just be anti whatever the word should be, because my brain's fogged at the moment. Yeah. But it's not a community then, and It should be a wonderful artist community for it. And I think it's such a drag when people it is. Well, and there's that too. That Connie Hung, but I hate it when I shouldn't say that. I dislike it when people want to drag others down and be like, well, that's not as good as, so what? It's different.
Yeah,
go see it. Some people want to see an Apple Blossom musical. Some people want to see a burlesque show. Some people want to see a drag show. Some people want to see Hot August Nights.
Right.
Some people want to see all of it. It's, and then there's other people you can't get them to come to the live theater to
Some people still don't know where the PAC is.
Yeah, they've never heard of it.
Hello.
Or even at the museum, I didn't know we had a museum here. How? This feels like a rite of passage as a child. You have to see the train exhibit and Pangborn's propeller and all that. But then there's people that I didn't know this was here.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but you know it now.
Or just like find your opportunity, find your thing, because the PAC is coming up with such unique, varied, multicultural, different performances coming in here, whether it's their season of shows or a rental client or
like Twincussion that they just had from Taiwan.
Yeah.
Tito Puente Jr. a few days later. They were wonderful. Phenomenal. That was a wonderful show. I told Mr. Puente that he needed to calm down because he was melting my spotlight that I was running for him. It was a hot show. It was so great. And everybody up dancing in the aisles, and and some people that they'll come to see a symphony and not picture people were dancing in these aisles. Well, that's the diversity of shows they do here,
Yeah. So find something. That's what I tell people. Like, just find something that appeals to you. It's not going to be every show. It's not meant to be every show. Just, even if you go to Broadway, you're not going to like every show that's on Broadway. You have to find what calls to you.
I know once there's a negative review on Google about the PAC, and it was because we were doing La Cage Full that summer for Hot August Nights. And they said how sad that is. And it gave the PAC a 1-star review based off of one show. And it was like 6 weeks before we even started rehearsals for it. And I wanted to respond. I know you can't respond to Google reviews, I think. I'm technologically in advance.
I don't know if you can.
But if I could have responded to this person, I wanted to say, I know what you mean. The Liberty Cinema was showing a film I didn't want to see, so I will never go there again. That's what it felt like.
Right.
Know? How stupid is that?
Yeah, you have options.
Yeah, there's options. Go to Gateway, go to
exercise your options.
Stay home.
We live in a free country, right?
You'd think.
Like you said, if you don't like it, just don't go.
Yeah.
Right?
Why ruin other people's fun?
Exactly. We all come from different upbringings, different backgrounds. We are all different human beings. We're allowed to have different opinions.
Yeah.
And different likes and different dislikes. It doesn't mean that we need to push that on other people.
No, you can agree to
there's
disagree.
enough for everybody, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think that you're going to continue doing March of the Pippin?
I don't know.
Or expand it?
Oh, I've been expanding it. Since I hurt my back, I haven't been able to go to the gym, and my body just sees anything and holds on to it.
So what happened?
I can't talk about it,
Okay.
but I can say I was injured, and I have a bulged disc that's pushing on my sciatic nerve.
Mm.
I will say the incompetency of some of the health practitioners in the valley upset me. The day that it was worse, that I went into shock and I couldn't walk, I couldn't anything. And I was taken by ambulance to the hospital, and I was given 150 cc's of fentanyl in the ambulance, and I'm all but screaming. I just can't move. And I wouldn't wish back pain upon anybody. You say, "Oh, my back hurts." Well, that's it's not a weak thing. So I just couldn't walk. I couldn't move. My back kept spasming and just said, any kind of, even if I took a deep breath. Well, then they gave me morphine and then Valium and some other drug. And I'm just laying there hurting, and not knowing what was wrong. I didn't know that I had a bulged disc. I just knew that my back was hurting. And I had gone to 3 different doctors. I had been in the emergency room the day before, and I couldn't sit. It was like I can either lay down or stand up at a lean, but that's it. I can't. Well, let's sit you. No, don't sit me down. And they just, well, your back has knots. And for 3 doctors previously, and the doctor, after they'd given me all these, he'd been there for 4 hours or so, just lying there, and they came back and, I can't believe you're still awake. Well, I'm hurting. I don't know if you just, because because I had Wizard of Oz coming up, and it was opening in 2 days. I've never missed an opening night. Right. I was beside myself with worry about it. And the kid, Bowden Sorum, that filled in for me, found out right then and there, and then he filled in that first week. And when I'm perfect, I will carry that kid everywhere for the rest of my life, because I'll forever be indebted to him. But they said, well, you just got knots in your back, so we're going to release you. They stood me up, and I collapsed again. And then they went, well, we'll do an MRI. And that's the first time I found out what was wrong with me. I didn't know. And then when I tried to argue that, they said, oh, no, we did everything right. But I didn't know what was wrong with me. Well, yeah, but that will just take time to heal. What? Yeah, but I didn't know what needed healing. Yeah. I didn't know what was wrong. And then plus, if it wasn't something to keep me in the hospital, because you released me, there's no getting out about it. I have the paperwork. You released me. I collapsed. Then you did that. And then you admitted me to the hospital for 3 days. Well, that's because you became incapacitated in the hospital. No, it wasn't. I was brought in by ambulance. I couldn't walk. I couldn't it just makes me so angry when I think about it. And I don't want other people to get treated like that. But they will stand behind it that they did everything right. And what do I know? I'm just an actor. But I think that they might have been just writing me off as a junkie looking for a fix. And you don't treat nerve pain like you treat muscle pain. you can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that because I didn't know what was wrong. And it wasn't until I got anti-inflammatory steroids in me that I could walk again. And I could not believe, really, I couldn't walk. I had to have a catheter done because my nerves were so screwed up that I couldn't even go. They're coming at me with something like this. I'm like, you're going to need something a lot shorter. You're going to drain my spine.
My God.
And because nothing was working. And then I got those anti-inflammatories in me. And a week later, I was tap dancing in The Wizard of Oz again. So who knew? And but I still have to take it easy on my back. And I still have to, and I hate it, but I do have to stop and sit down and be like, oh.
How did you get from that point to a week later tap dancing on stage?
Just pushing myself. And because it was like, can you walk up those stairs? Can you walk down these stairs? And now you just try to walk a little bit here. I had to have a walker with me. I had a little basket on it so I could take snacks or whatever.
Oh my
So stupid.
goodness.
But it was just pushing and pushing. And when the doctor okayed me that I could go back to The Wizard of Oz, and my director was fabulous, Dana Taves, and I will praise her always. She was with me at all of these appointments. She bent over backwards to help me in every way, shape, or form. And she was fabulous. But the show had to go on.
Right. I was just going to say, there is that age-old saying that the show has to go on.
And Bowden did it for me. He took it up. But then I had to do Killer Joe a month later at the Riverside, and then I had Pippin to worry about, and I didn't get time, to rest my back and all that. And I think it has been resting.
You didn't give yourself time to rest your back.
Well, yeah, but it's me dropping out of these shows. I couldn't imagine, especially like Pippin. My husband and I had gone to Vietnam just before the pandemic kicked off, and I found out I was going to be in Pippin then as the grandma. And then to drop out after waiting for 2.5 years. Ugh.
I know.
Ugh.
I know.
But it got done. And I'm still alive, and March of the Pippin is still happening.
I know. See, I'm looking over at Grayson because you and this is a thing, like in the industry, right? We push ourselves really hard for our craft. And when something physical might derail us, but it doesn't derail us for very long, and we just continue to push ourselves. Because right now, like, I have some health issues going on, and I still have to wait another month till I can have this surgery on my kidney. And until then, I'm living in like pain every day with a stent, and it's uncomfortable. But like, you just get up and you go and you move, and it's like some days I have to work all day and then host a private party and then host a karaoke thing, and you're moving equipment, and you have to be on. The show has to go on, and people go, well, aren't you running yourself a little hard? I'm like, no, this is me. This is what I do. This is my life. This is the art.
As a for instance, like in October, and I hope I'm not making you run blog on this, but there was a weekend in October I was assistant producing Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, and this was the week. Thursday I was here and as a producer there, and I ran back and forth between the theater and Riverside. It's just a parking lot, but I'm running back and forth. 3 times I did it, back and forth. And it was round trip 3 times, I should say. So 6 times I was running back. And then Friday comes, we had Rocky Horror here. So I did my producing duties at the Riverside, and then I came here and did the midnight showing of Rocky Horror. Well, then the next day is matinee day. Well, I was at the museum, and on my lunch, I went and sold tickets for matinee, left, went back, closed the museum, dropped things off for the drag show here, took my drag stuff over there, changed into drag there, sold tickets, came, did my 2 performances of the drag songs here, went back, finished tickets and everything up for the evening show. And then the next day I was at the Haunt and working the Haunt.
Wow.
And that sometimes is an average weekend. And people, if you really get into the arts here and work really hard, it's a breeze, and that excites me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be so busy. And the first show I ever did, I was so sad on the opening night because that was it. It's just done. And finding out you get to do it more. And I said, I get to do it again. And I still feel like that. I love that.
Yeah. Like earlier in the program, we had Charley Voorhis from Project Pivot.
He just filmed me on some stuff for March of the Pippin.
Oh, he did?
Yes,
that's
yesterday
very cool.
He was walking with me out in that cold rain. And
oh, yeah.
it was beautiful, and then it was beautiful, and then that middle, that's when we filmed.
What happened? It was yesterday's weather was so weird.
Yeah, it was by Sybil. That's what it was. I stole that from Robin Williams, just for the record.
So him and I were talking about, him being an extreme athlete, and that's where he gets like his adrenaline rush from. And I'm not an adrenaline junkie that way, but I kind of am adrenaline junkie. But when it comes to doing performances, right, that's where we get our adrenaline rush from. Yeah,
it's the rush, and I'd imagine that the same as like jumping out of a plane or getting into the shark, cage. It's the same thing, kind of feeling of here it comes, here it comes. And I love that. Marlena Dietrich, a friend of mine, may he rest in peace, was passed this last year, but his first gig was him and Marlena Dietrich, and that was it. That was his first big gig. And he was standing backstage and he's, fidgeting with his tie and tails and everything. And she came up to him and said, "Darling, are you nervous?" And he said, yeah, I'm nervous. And, "Don't mistake nerves for excitement." And I live for that sentence. Don't mistake nerves for excitement.
Lovely.
I'm excited.
I don't even know what I'm excited for, but I'm just excited in general. And this is it's just so good. We have the 3rd annual March of the Pippin. It is starting March 26th.
Correct. And you can donate at numericapac.org. They have a page set up to it with a lovely picture of me.
It was a really nice picture.
Yeah, and then Jeff Austinson and Charley Voorhis, they're releasing a little video of it for promotion. But they could donate there on the website, or they can even call the PAC and do it over the phone. The volunteers and staff here are happy to help out. And I will walk my ass off.
I know last year they had some people sometimes walk with you or
And anytime somebody wants to meet up and walk with me, I'll make as best conversation as I can.
You are a good conversationalist. So thank you for spending a few minutes with me.
Oh, I'm happy to. Thank you for inviting me to this.
Yeah. And then we also have your next trivia night at the museum.
March 17th.
Yep, on St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
And you told me that you make up some of the questions for that night. So that's very impressive because that's not easy to do.
Well, some things I get so excited about it. And one question I should have done multiple choice, but I just thought it was fascinating, just for some trivia for those of you out there that didn't know. Do you know how many hours Squid Game has been streamed on Netflix worldwide?
Wow, is this like an example of one of the how hard the questions are?
Well, this I don't make them as hard anymore. I should have made that one multiple choice, but I thought it was such a fascinating number. So just throw out a number. How many hours of streaming do you think Squid Games has been streamed worldwide on Netflix?
37 million hours.
Do you have a guess?
39.
6.1 billion hours.
Stop it.
No.
Isn't that insane?
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of hours to catch up on to try to make that. I won't be walking for that many hours. But no, last month I did questions on animals and city nicknames, and I made some multiple choice just for people to catch up, because I did make them a little hard.
So that's going to be St. Patrick's Day, 7 to 9. And you can go to WenatcheeValleyMuseum.org. It's free. It is free.
It's great to register because we only have so many seats available. Okay. We had over 100 people show up to it, which was just
saw the picture.
Fabulous.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And people had a good time. The doors open at 6, so you can get in and get yourself sat and have your team name ready to go. And that way we start at 7, because we ended up starting a little late because so many people were coming in that we weren't expecting. So we've extended the entrance time for people so we don't run into that again.
Stay on schedule.
I want to. Oh, I want to. Sit down.
Sit down. All right, Matthew, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. What a thrill.
Thank you.
And please donate if you can. Any penny helps.
Absolutely. Goes right to the PAC, and we'll get you on again and talk to you some more in the future. It's always, always, always a good time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, that was Matthew Pippin. March of the Pippin starts March 26th But you can get in and donate right now. All the details are at numericapac.org. It's right up there on the front page. And speaking of trivia, I have a little bit of trivia here for you before we end today's show. And it's to help promote another brand new podcast that is on the Darling Podcast Network. So where did I put this? Nope, it's right. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to play this little clip. The brand new podcast is called Get Fresh with the Produce News. It is the #1 produce news game show podcast and is hosted by Adam Campbell of the Produce News, which is a bi-weekly produce newsletter that comes out, and it goes to all like the produce industry, produce buyers, so fruits and veggies and all that, potatoes. And the very first episode is out now, and you can check it out, getfreshpodcast.com. So I wanted to, and it's a game show, so they have these trivia questions. So I took out a little clip. I'm going to play the clip of the very first question of the very first show of the Get Fresh with the Produce News. See if anybody can guess the answer to this question. And if you can, I don't really expect anybody to get it right, but if you can, you get some bonus points. I'll throw some glass cleaner your way or something like that. All right. So here's the clip.
A research team from Columbia University has determined that if you live near a, quote, food swamp, your risk of stroke increases by 13%. For 2 points, can you tell me what a food swamp is?
A food swamp?
The question was do you know what a food swamp is?
A research team from Columbia University has determined that if you live near a, quote, food swamp, your risk of stroke increases by 13%. For 2 points, can you tell me what a food swamp is?
A food swamp? A place where, gosh, somebody else is begging for the answer. Oh my gosh. A food swamp? I don't, okay.
I think it's like a spodie, Kyle.
A spodie?
Like a party punch.
Isn't that where they grow cranberries in some kind of swamp?
Yeah,
Food swamp.
yeah, a bog.
Yeah.
It's a bog.
Otherwise known as a cranberry bog. Right. I'm sorry, you failed. You don't get the, no.
I think it's where they cut up a bunch of fruit and pour vodka and rum. And, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's my answer. That's my...
I'm sorry, you're incorrect. Yeah. It's unfortunately an area with lots of fast food. In fact, 5 times the fast food options as grocery or farmers markets.
Wow, I was way off.
Yeah, so if you see a farmer's market when you're in a food swamp, don't head toward it. It's just a mirage.
It's
not really there.
Although I do think that there's something about changing the name slightly when calling it a fruit swamp. And I love the vodka and the watermelon. That is a new name from fruit swamp. And I'm like digging that whole concept.
Yeah, Roach, maybe we need to trademark that quick.
Yeah, get on that. Get on that.
The watermelon board's going to jump on it.
Yeah,
super appetizing. Everyone wants swamp in their branding.
Oh my goodness. I love it.
Isn't that fun? Doesn't that just sound like so much fun? Yeah. So that's kind of how it starts off. There's, it is hilarious. It is in the produce industry. They ask produce questions, but there's a forum of panelists who kind of interact and answer these questions. Did you know what a food swamp was? No, you didn't know.
No.
So food swamp is where there was less than 15 or less than 5% of fresh food. So there was more than 50% of
the farmers market and all that.
Yeah. So more than fast food, mostly fast food in an area. Ugh. Yeah,
I wouldn't think
gross.
that's what a food swap was. That's very fascinating.
Right. So I did say that anybody who would stay this long, I would give you a sneak peek of the Vern in his Shrek costume makeup. So let's give you a little bit of a, there it is. Look at that. Can you see it? You're delayed by 4 seconds. Okay. So Vern is playing Shrek in the Apple Blossom musical. And yeah, he just, his new profile picture, he says, "Oh, it's happening. First full makeup tomorrow to sing a promo at the Special Olympics opening." So Special Olympics coming in this weekend, and there he is as Shrek. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, the tickets are on sale for Shrek the Musical, which is the Apple Blossom musical this year. And if you haven't, I will show you again. We're giving away our Safe Light Auto Glass Professional Glass Cleaner to whoever can identify our guest for the first episode of Back of the PAC, Season 2, Episode 1. There is the silhouette of said guest.
And what was that? Was that that little hint?
Oh, the hint.
Clue?
Yeah, I did give a hint. In 1985, she was the apple of our eye. 1985, she was the apple of our eye. So if you can put a comment here on any of our live streams, first person to get that correct will win a prize. We also have the 2 tickets to Step Africa up for grabs. Anybody who is signed on for Supercast, which is our online community, will get entered automatically into that drawing, which we will do at the end of next weekend. So you have until this show and next show to get signed up for the What's Up Wenatchee community, and then you will automatically be entered into that. What is the What's Up Wenatchee community? We have the Supercast subscription service. We have different levels of that. Every dollar of that goes to support free speech right here in our community. It goes right back to putting this podcast on, to getting the great guests that we put on, to doing these interviews, to getting the content and being out in the community as much as possible. So we appreciate the ongoing support that you give us every single month. We always have our website if you want to get in touch with us, darlingproductionswa.com. You can hire us. We are out at expos and conferences. We do private karaoke parties and kids parties, and all of those things. So you can check our schedule for hiring and whether we are available, because our schedule is always booking up. So Darling Productions WA will give you all that information as well. And NumericaPAC.org, we want to thank those guys, everybody here, for being such an awesome host for us today, literally broadcasting live from the back of the PAC as we celebrate them starting their second season of their podcast, Back of the PAC, which you can go right on to darlingpodcast.com or NumericaPAC.org and see listen to all of the past episodes of Back of the PAC, and their season 2 launches on Monday. As for us, I want to thank all of my guests on today's program, Charley Voorhis from Voortex Productions and the Mr. Matthew Pippin for coming on and telling us all about March of Pippin. And you can donate now right at numericapac.org for that. And of course, April Castle, who I fully expect will never talk to me ever again.
Oh, stop.
So bye, April. Sorry. Oh, no. Next week, we're going to be back with our Chief Hope Officer, Tom Meese. He will be back on the program. We're going to be broadcasting live. It's going to be a really busy week next week. So we'll be broadcasting live from the Time Capsule, which just happens to be down on Orondo Avenue, and that is where Rails and Ales is going to be taking place. So we're going to be down there from 12 to 2 ahead of Rails and Ales, and then we're going to be shimmying on over to the Home Expo at the Town Toyota Center. Yeah. So we will be at the Town Toyota Center Friday night or afternoon, and then all day Saturday and all day Sunday. So we will be busy.
Oh yeah.
All next weekend. It's going to be a super fun time at the time capsule, getting ready for Rails and Ales, and having some fun with Kayla and Doug, who own the time capsule. We're doing some fun giveaways with them as well. So stay tuned for that. And you can always catch up on the past episodes of What's Up Wenatchee through wherever you stream your podcasts, or go to our What's Up Wenatchee YouTube page. That's the best place to look at our previous live broadcast. Check the live tab on our YouTube page. And you can always support us. We appreciate it if you support us through supercast.com. We really appreciate you. Thanks, Grayson. How was we didn't really get too much to chat today because we had so much going on the program.
It was a super packed show, so I didn't really expect a lot of dialogue from me, just more of a presence.
But I always appreciate your presence because I need you here. One thing we didn't mention is tickets are on sale for Hop and Shop.
Yes, Hop and Shop. Fun times.
March 25th.
Get your tickets.
You have 2 different options for Hop and Shop. You can either take the VIP experience, get on the shuttle, it'll drive you around, or you can do a self-guided Hop and Shop. A lot of really great shops on the Hop and Shop tour. All Good Things, Intergrove Tea Company, Firehouse Pet Shop, Simply Unique, Wenatchee Wear, Yale Bookshop, Time Capsule, Tumbleweeds, Mountain Chick Floral, Henry Harrow, and then you end at Class with a Glass and me throwing a party.
I'm just saying the shuttle is the way to go for this because you're not doing any driving.
Right.
I do the shuttle. Yeah.
Go to lanesse.net to get your tickets now before they sell out for it. It's going to be March 25th. All right, peeps. We try and keep you up to date as much as possible. If we're missing something, always get in touch, okay? It's very easy. We have an interactive text line or my email, which is all done through darlingproductionswa.com, or you can text us at 509-795-5602. We will see you next week again right here on What's Up Wenatchee every Friday, 12 to 2. It is a production of the Darling Podcast Network, and we are always happy to be here and always happy to hear your feedback. So say goodbye, Grayson. Oh, you did my move. That's not even fair. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.